Hey, good morning. Before we jump in on Mark chapter 8, quick editor note. In the earliest versions of the Daily Bible Devotional, there was a misprint, and the first paragraph from Mark 7 was also pasted in Mark 8. If that's true of you, you just let me know. I'll send you one today, and you'll be back in business in no time. That happened in two places. The other time is later in the Gospel of John, but we got it lined up pretty quickly. Let's jump in on the actual content today from a recap of Mark chapter 8. Jesus has a compassionate heart. This leads him to feed thousands because he sees that they are hungry. This is a sign of his power and love. However, the Pharisees come asking for more signs. For them, nothing Jesus does will ever be enough. It is this hard-heartedness he warns the disciples to avoid. Jesus then heals a blind man. This physical sight given by faith is set in contrast to the Pharisees who think they see and yet remain spiritually blind. Jesus then asks his disciples who they believe him to be. They say, quote, "You are the Christ." This faith would be crucial, as their faith would be tested by his arrest and death, as well as the extreme sacrifices they would be called to make in his name. Let's take a look at maybe whether or not we might be asked to do such things. Jesus demonstrates his glory and his right to be called the Christ. We must choose whether to believe in him or not. But this cannot be done halfway. His call to disciples is extreme. It starts with demanding we understand that his lordship would require his death. Peter struggled with this. More than that, he demands allegiance from us for his glory. We must deny ourselves, take up our crosses, and follow him. We must lose our life in devotion to him to see the salvation of our lives in eternity. Many will want to give everything to be saved in the judgment and will have nothing to give. We must serve him now, confessing his name courageously in this world. Let's look at some questions that can challenge us on how to do that. Number one, do you believe Jesus sees you and feels for you in times of struggle? How do you trust in that, even when results do not come right away? Number two, the Pharisees had things in their hearts that blinded them to Christ's glory. What has he done in your life to keep your heart from hardening? I hope you can come up with a lot of great things. And then finally, what does it mean to lose your life for his sake? And what would it profit you to keep your life and gain the whole world, but not have Jesus? Let's pray. Great God, we thank you for your loving kindness and the compassion that your Son has for us. We know that his ability to help us is only limited by the borders of our faith. Help us to expand our trust and surrender our entire lives to him. We sometimes fall into pride, blindness to truth, and even doubts about your will. But great God, we believe your Son is the Christ, sent to die for our salvation. Forgive our failings and restore us to commitment and strength, and to never be ashamed of the Lord. May you speak his name with boldness and love as you go throughout the day. Thanks for listening.